This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle Bauer and Tracy Streeter as they talk about the history of the Kansas Water Office.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Tracy Streeter. He is the director of the Kansas Water Office. We're going to visit with Tracy to start with to talk about the history of the Kansas Water Office and the history of water management as far as the state of Kansas goes. Tracy, can you bring us through that history a bit?
Sure. Probably a lot of the water public policy and government in water in Kansas began after the 51 flood. There were a number of local units of government created in response to that, and then in the late 70s there was a study commissioned by then Governor Bennett and his lieutenant governor that ultimately suggested that there be what we have now, the Kansas Water Office. And so in 1981 the Water Office was created, which called for a comprehensive state water plan. It was set up on a water basin basis, and we had 12 major river basins that we managed, and we had basin plans for each one of them, as well as some other sections that looked at state policy recommendations. And that's really the kind of the origin of the Water Office, was back in that era. And the responsibilities of the office that evolved from that is obviously the staff to create the state water plan. We also have a Kansas Water Authority that was created at that point in time, which had a number of appointed positions by mostly the governor, but there was also some appointees from legislative leadership representing all the various water interests in Kansas. Each of those 12 basins that were created for planning and management also had a local advisory committee that was created as a result of that. So that really set the structure for getting citizen input up through the BACs, Basin Advisory Committees, and then the Water Authority had the ultimate responsibility of approving the water plan and make recommendations to the governor and legislature on any policy that needed to be considered by the executive and the legislative branch.
As we look at the reservoirs in the state, though, at some point the state of Kansas became part of that management and ownership.
That's correct. Kansas is unique, I think, the only of its kind in the nation where the state government has the water supply contracts with the Corps of Engineers at 13 of the reservoirs. Typically they're individual water supplies or industries that have that contract, cities, rural water districts, etc. And so we operate a wholesale water utility through a water marketing program where we take all of our customer base and operate it as a system. And we also have an water assurance districts that are kind of a companion to that, where folks that are on the Kansas Neosho and Marais River have the ability to purchase storage and operate the river as a system.
We're visiting with Tracy Streeter. He's the director of the Kansas Water Office. On the show today, we'll be talking more about water marketing, water storage management, and we'll be looking at the dredging on John Redmond Reservoir.
Folks, come back after these messages as Kyle visits with Earl Lewis to discuss the financial side of the water plan.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.